Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ringside Cinema. I am Money Mike. Today, we got wrestling predictions for 2026. In 2025, we all believed in Joe Hendry, but in 2026, what will we believe? What will happen in 2026? I cover returns, debuts, Royal Rumble winners, WrestleMania main events, so much more. Let's get into it here because I got a long list of them here. So, first things first bold prediction of the video, Bayley will leave the WWE in 2026. She did state last year that she had a year and a half left on her contract, and that was April 2025 when she did an interview with Chris Van Vliet during WrestleMania weekend. So, technicality, this year's WrestleMania in April will be one whole year. So, that would leave a half of a year left. So, that would put Bayley debuting in the fall of 2026. So I think she follows the very same path that Adam Copeland Edge did, where he wanted to go to AEW, work with his best friend, Christian Cage. And I think Bayley will leave to go work with Mercedes in 2026 and eventually have a match with Mercedes Moné for the AEW Women's World Championship. Now, let's stick to wrestlers going to AEW because, as we all know, Mick Foley announced that he was not renewing his Legends deal with the WWE. He was going to be done with the WWE for the time period being, which probably will be the next couple years, due to political reasons. And because of that, I think Mick Foley will debut in AEW in the summer of 2026. Also, the Street Profits will leave WWE for AEW, sticking with the WWE to AEW predictions here. Last one, I believe that LA Knight, and this is a very, 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 very bold prediction, will win Money in the Bank. I'm kidding myself. I think LA Knight will get tired of the booking not being put in the main event picture, and I think LA Knight will ask for his release, and he will be granted his release, and we will see LA Knight / Eli Drake be AEW bound in 2026. That is my bold prediction that a major name will ask for their release and go to AEW, and I specified LA Knight due to creative issues. Now, let's go to the Royal Rumble WrestleMania. Royal Rumble wise, I have Roman Reigns and Liv Morgan winning their Royal Rumble matches. Yes, that does seem kind of predictable, but again, for what I think WWE wants to do at WrestleMania, it makes a lot of sense. As for the Elimination Chamber, I'm going to go with CM Punk winning the Elimination Chamber to get a world title match at WrestleMania. And oh, by the way, Roman Reigns will challenge the winner of Braun Breaker and CM Punk, which I just spoiled, who I think will win on Monday night, which will be Braun Breaker winning his first World Heavyweight title this Monday on Raw. And you can join me right here on this channel as I'll be live streaming the very first Monday Night Raw of the year featuring Breaker versus Punk, Rhea Io versus the Kabuki Warriors for the women's tag team titles. Maybe a certain Canadian making his return to the WWE. I will get more details into that in a little bit. So hit that like and subscribe button today. So Roman Reigns wins a world title or wins a Royal Rumble. Braun Breaker will win the World Heavyweight title on Raw. And I think it will be Roman Reigns versus Braun Breaker at WrestleMania, with Braun Breaker putting Roman Reigns, or with Roman Reigns putting Braun Breaker over at WrestleMania. And then CM Punk will challenge the winner of Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. And I'm going bold in saying it will be Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk at WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes will face Randy Orton at WrestleMania in a singles match, non-title, when Randy Orton turns heel and costs Cody the match in Berlin against Drew McIntyre. Seth Rollins will return on the Raw after WrestleMania to confront Braun Breaker in the Vision, in which Austin Theory will reveal that he's still a member of the Vision as Rollins chases everyone away and will challenge and will be Braun Breaker's first feud for the World Heavyweight title post WrestleMania. Oh, I can't forget the Women's Elimination Chamber. So Liv Morgan wins the Royal Rumble. And I believe Bianca Belair will win the Elimination Chamber for the second straight year to go on to challenge Jade Cargill at WrestleMania. But I'm also going to go with the second prediction here, because if Bianca's finger is still not healed by this point, then I think it will be Charlotte Flair winning the Elimination Chamber to face Jade Cargill. Because besides doing Bianca and Jade, I think your next big WrestleMania draw match-wise would be Charlotte versus Jade. So if Bianca is my original prediction, but if she is still injured, I think that will go to Charlotte Flair come Elimination Chamber time. Becky Lynch will turn babyface post WrestleMania, and Paul Heyman will have a surprise for Becky Lynch at some point, as Ronda Rousey will return to the WWE, and we will get the dream match one-on-one, no Charlotte Flair this time, Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey at some point in 2026. I could see this being a SummerSlam match, or even Survivor Series, depending on when this all happens. But we gotta remember, Becky Lynch did get into Paul Heyman's face after they took out Seth Rollins, and she wasn't too happy. So I think that's going to play into her becoming a babyface again. And I think Heyman will bring in Ronda to take care of Becky Lynch. And I think probably at some point that might lead to a mixed tag match where Seth and Becky take on Braun Breaker and Ronda Rousey in a main event at a PLE. As for King and Queen of the Ring, I have Sami Zayn winning King of the Ring, but he doesn't win at SummerSlam. He will lose because this will be the start of Sami Zayn going on a world title run in 2027, as I believe Sami Zayn will win the Royal Rumble in 2027 and then win the world title at Saudi Mania. We all know the Saudi Arabia crowd loves Sami Zayn, which is why I do believe Saudi Arabia is going to be getting King and Queen of the Ring or Night of Champions, whatever one of the two. And I think that is where they're going to have Sami Zayn win, because it will be great reaction for Sami Zayn in Saudi Arabia, and that will set up his run for the main event going into 2027. As for the Queen of the Ring, I do have whoever doesn't win between Charlotte and Bianca, because like I said, I do think Bianca will win the Elimination Chamber to face Jade. And if that does happen, where she is back in time from her injury, then I think Charlotte Flair will truly become the queen and win Queen of the Ring in 2026. As for your Money in the Bank winners, Logan Paul will win Money in the Bank for the men's, and I believe Roxanne Perez will win your women's Money in the Bank, in which I do believe Liv Morgan will defeat Stephanie Baker at WrestleMania to become the women's world champion, and that will play a part into the Judgment Day split in 2026. And yes, Logan Paul will become a World Heavyweight Champion. He will cash in successfully, and he will become the World Heavyweight Champion before the end of the year. Your WWE class of 2026 Hall of Fame will be headlined by John Cena, Stephanie McMahon, the Hardy Boys, Mickie James, Ken Shamrock. The celebrity wing will be Floyd Mayweather because they are in Las Vegas. And I do believe that for the the inductee they induct who is no longer with us, that will be Sabu. Gunther may be the one that is retiring a lot of legends. I'm going to go bold here. I believe Braun Breaker will retire Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2026. I know the whole idea here is Gunther is this new legend killer, but I can't envision a world where Paul Heyman is not involved in Brock Lesnar's last match. So I think, to me, Braun Breaker, managed by Paul Heyman, will face Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam for the World Heavyweight title. And let's talk about AJ Styles. He is retiring in 2026. I'm going to go bold here. I think Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson will return as a part of the AJ Styles farewell tour. I do think AJ Styles will be retired by Gunther at a Saturday night main event in Nashville, Tennessee. And I say that because this will be a joint weekend with TNA, where AJ Styles will wrestle his final TNA match in 2026 and will be announced for the TNA Hall of Fame in 2026. And speaking of retirement tours, yes, Chris Jericho does make his return to WWE this Monday on Raw, and I will say he will become a 10-time Intercontinental Champion in the WWE, thus extending his record for the most Intercontinental title reigns. AEW will announce that Blood and Guts will be a pay-per-view special, they will have a brand new pay-per-view that will replace Full Gear, with the theme being centered around the Blood and Guts match. Sticking with AEW here, I think Will Ospreay will win the Owen Hart tournament, and he will go on to AEW All In London to win the AEW World title. Alongside Roxanne Perez winning Money in the Bank, she, along with Finn Balor, will turn on the Judgment Day, aligning themselves with the newest signees for the WWE, which will be New Japan's David Finlay, Drilla Maloney, and Clark Connor, as Finn Balor creates a new group and takes Roxanne and Raquel with him to feud against the Judgment Day. This will set up a babyface Dominic Mysterio run in 2027. AEW will also announce Fight Forever 2 for a 2027 release. And last but not least, rounding out my AEW predictions, I do think AEW will get more viewership, higher ratings. I think, to me, they are going to be back in the bigger arenas that the WWE is in by the end of 2026, because I truly believe, and this is another bold prediction here, I think we're going to start seeing the WWE level off with the high ticket prices, the 4 or 5 match cards. I think we're going to start seeing the WWE, I'm not saying a decline, but I do think it's going to level off, so to speak, where I think we're going to start seeing more fans start to prefer AEW, and AEW will regain momentum heading into 2027. All right, let's close this out here with a bang, because I got 2 bold predictions to end the predictions video here. I believe Kevin Owens will return to WWE by the end of 2026. Furthermore, here's the thing. I did look this up. Kevin Owens did get surgery in July, and he said he wants to return within a year. So if you go to a year, that would put us in July 2026. I think this is kind of similar to Randy Orton in 2023, where we will see Kevin Owens make his return as a part of War Games in Survivor Series for the babyface team. The Rock will return to the WWE, and he will have a match in 2026. Yes, I'm going there with this. The Rock will face Cody Rhodes at Survivor Series 2026 in Miami, Florida, which will also be the very first 2-night Survivor Series. The Rock debuted 1996 at Survivor Series. It would have been 30 years since The Rock's debut, and I believe the WWE will want a big match for this show. And I think, furthermore, just like how John Cena faced The Rock at WrestleMania 28 in Miami, Cody Rhodes and The Rock will face off at Survivor Series in Miami as the closing match of the first 2-night Survivor Series. And then this will parlay into the setup for The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 43 in Saudi Arabia. So let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think will happen in professional wrestling in 2026? I think, to me, we're going to have a big year. I think AEW will bounce back. I think WWE will kind of get out of their creative slump. And I do think that it's going to be a great year for wrestling across the board between WWE, TNA, AEW,